Hello everyone, this is Sugawara's Fist and welcome back to another video. I really don't have anything to say except for I have a new intro and do y'all like it? Please tell me if it's cute or not. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoy this video. Slight angst warning, I woke up today and chose pain, so... BokuAka. In real life, Bokuto slumps on his bed and sighs while pouting. He really doesn't want to do this prank. He knows that a lot of people think that Akashi only likes him because he pities him. He wants to avoid all of those comments because he already knows that Keiji also loves him just by how much love and sweetness the setter gives him. But it still doesn't remove the anxiety inside him. That's why he's trying to be the best boyfriend he can be. One wrong move and he'll lose Keiji, one wrong word and he'll be alone again. He lets out a deep sigh, he stands up from his bed, slowly walks towards the space between his drawer and the wall, he sits down on that gap, and slowly curls up into a ball, he hugs his knees to his chest and he buries his face in his arms. Keiji. Bokuto whispers. Usually, Akashi would always be there to comfort Bokuto, hug him, kiss him, and even whisper sweet nothings to his ears. These thoughts slowly brought tears to Bokuto's eyes. He starts to tremble and feel goosebumps all over his body. He starts to sniffle and then he hears a knock on the door. Kotaro, dear. Bokuto's eyes widen and he starts to wipe his tears with the cuffs of his sweatshirt. Yes, Papa. Bokuto tried his hardest to hide the fact that he's crying, but it's his dad, it's impossible to hide something from him. Cal, are you crying? No. Bokuto bites his lips in nervousness. May I come in? Bokuto's whole body perked up and he immediately stood up and started cleaning his room. Just a minute. Bokuto ran around his room, picking up things and cleaning the place, and then sat on his bed. All good now, Papa. Bokuto slowly opens the door with a fatherly smile on his face. He quickly scans the room and he lightly giggles as he sees traces of his son trying so hard to quickly tidy his room up. Papa. Bokuto's gaze landed on Kotaro and he immediately noticed how gloomy and sad his eyes looked, despite the smile on his lips. Are we going to eat dinner now? Not yet. Your dad and your sister burnt the food for the third time. I swear to God, those two will get cussed out by Gordon Ramsay. Bokuto chuckles, but Papa Bokuto still notices the underlying sadness in his tone. He closed the door and leaned on it while crossing his arms. Do you want to talk about it? Bokuto's smile slowly fades away and his gaze falls to the floor. The boy nodded his head and Papa Bokuto walked towards the bed and sat beside him. Are you okay? I'm scared, Papa. What if Kashi leaves me one day? I'm so hard to deal with and I'm so clingy. What if he doesn't want me anymore? What if he breaks up with me? Bokuto's voice starts to tremble and Papa Bokuto just pulls him into a hug and starts to caress his back. It's okay, let it all out. Tears streamed from Bokuto's eyes down to his cheeks. Papa Bokuto continued to caress and hug the crying boy until he slowly pulled away. Do you think Keiji will leave me, Papa? Papa Bokuto smiles. He memorized all of your weaknesses and even learned how to deal with them. Do you really think that he'll leave you? What if he just did that for the team? What if he didn't? Bokuto stays quiet. What if he genuinely cares for you and loves you? What if he wants to stay with you for the rest of his life? What if he doesn't see you as a burden? We have a lot of what ifs in our lives, Cal, so instead of thinking about negative what ifs, how about the positive ones? There's no harm in hoping and dreaming, especially if your father is telling you that he's ready to take your boyfriend as his son-in-law. Bokuto starts to giggle and Papa Bokuto joins him. Thank you, Papa. You're welcome. Kotaro. They both smiled at each other and hugged once again. Bokuto is actually taller than Papa Bokuto, so this time, It's Bokuto that is pulling Papa Bokuto to a hug. May I ask what made you think of these thoughts? Papa Bokuto pulled away from the hug to get his son's answer and he received a simple nod. Kurobro thought of this amazing prank and I have to ignore Kashi so that I can get his reaction, and I just started overthinking. Papa Bokuto gives Kotaro a loving smile and pats his shoulder. What's with this prank thingy though? We thought that our boyfriends will be clingy if we ignore them, so. Papa Bokuto laughed and partially covered his mouth. Kids these days really are playful and creative. Bokuto smiles and this time, it's finally genuine. Anyways, I'll call you for dinner later, okay? If you're going to ask Akashi to come over, make sure to clean your room properly, okay? Okay, Papa. Papa Bokuto stands up, walks towards the door, opens it, and they both suddenly freeze when they hear someone ring the doorbell from downstairs. After some intense eavesdropping, Papa Bokuto starts to giggle. You better clean quickly, Kotaro. And Bokuto stands up and follows his father, only to hear Akashi's voice talking to his sister and other father. Bokuto screams but he immediately covers his mouth. Good luck, son. Papa Bokuto leaves the room and closes the door. As he did, Bokuto starts to panic. He hasn't even prepared the camera yet. He ditches the room cleaning plan and just tries to find a place to hide his phone. He runs to his bed, grabs his phone, places it somewhere where he thinks Akashi won't find it, presses the record button, and quickly grabs something and jumps on his bed. He hears someone walking up to his room and he quickly looks at the object he grabs and stares at it as if he's observing it. Someone knocks on the door. Bokuto-san, may I come in? Nobody answered. Bokuto-san. Still, nobody answered. Kotaro, are you there? Bokuto starts to feel bad, so he clears his throat, signing for Akashi to come in. On the other side of the wall, Akashi's brows are furrowing in confusion. He's trying to comprehend where that throat clearing is a sign for him to come in. He's puzzled. I mean, everyone will be. Bokuto Kotaro usually greets Akashi warmingly. It's either with a hug, or a kiss, or both, or with a loud Akashi. Akashi just goes for it and steps inside the room. Bokuto's body immediately tensed up and started to keenly observe the object he's holding. As soon as he enters, Akashi immediately notices the weird vibe that's going on. He starts to examine the room and squints his eyes when he sees Bokuto's phone on the corner, facing him. Akashi sighs and lightly giggles. Kotaro, are you doing a prank on me? Bokuto flinched and his gaze raced to Akashi. How did you know? Bokuto yells in shock. Akashi chuckles and Bokuto just stares at him with a pout on his face. Even though the thought of doing the prank made him sad, he still wanted to do it. He wants to find out if what Kuro said was true. They get very clingy when you jokingly ignore them. Akashi walked his way to Bokuto's bed and sat beside him. Cal, I saw your phone the moment I walked inside. Kuro-san also called me and told me to check up on you for no reason. I heard Kuro-san kinda screaming in between the words he's saying, so I kinda had a clue on what was going on. And look at you. What's wrong with me? Nothing. But who looks at their socks like it's a treasure? Bokuto looks at the sock he was holding and then looks back to Akashi. Me. Akashi laughs and hugs Bokuto. The pout on Bokuto's lips was immediately replaced with a grin and he hugs Akashi back. They both slump to the bed, with Akashi's face buried on Bokuto's chest. Keiji. Yes. You won't leave me, right? Akashi looks up with a slight frown painted on his face. Of course I won't. Why, is there something wrong? Nope, I'm fine. Bokuto grins and giggles. But Akashi is not convinced. Kotaro. Akashi deadpans, Bokuto sighs, and sits up. Akashi pulled away from the hug and also sat up, and he looked at Bokuto, who's clearly hesitating. I'm just nervous. Why? I was supposed to ignore you, you know, as a joke. Yeah, I noticed that. But I was worried, what if you get sad, or angry? I don't want to make you sad or angry, what if you leave me? No, Kurobro had good intentions, but I'm just very anxious. What was the purpose of the prank in the first place? To get you to act clingy towards me? Akashi softly smiles. I can do that, Bokuto-san, just ask. Really? Akashi started to have some doubts with what he just said, but he still went with it. Yes. And I will never leave you, Bokuto-san, please trust me. Then promise me something. Sure. What is it? Bokuto sat properly and stared at Akashi with sparkly eyes. He lifts his hand and presents his pinky finger to Akashi. Akashi smiles, and hooks his pinky to Bokuto's. Promise me that if we have problems, we're going to talk it out. I promise. Promise me that we're always gonna go on dates after I graduate. Akashi giggles. I promise. Lastly, promise me that you're gonna say yes if I ask you to marry me. I don't know about that yet. Bokuto pouts and furrowed his brows. Why? I'm not accepting any proposal right now, Bokuto-san. But I didn't propose to you. So what do you call that? Bokuto thinks, and thinks, and thinks, and thinks. A deal? Akashi bursts out laughing and Bokuto pouts. You're so cute, Bokuto-san. Akashi smiles and starts to caress Bokuto's cheeks. Bokuto's expression softens and he holds Akashi's hand that was on his cheek, with his other hand. Then promise me this. Akashi's brows perked up. Promise me, that you'll always love me. And I promise you, that I'll always love you. Akashi smiles and nods. Bokuto grins, and leans towards Akashi and gives him a quick soft kiss. You promise? Akashi returns the kiss and smiles. I promise. Bonus. In the living room of the Bokuto residence. Oh come on hun, they're doing just fine. Papa's right, Dad, calm down. All of their attention diverts to the laptop on the table. They're on a video call with Bokuto's oldest sister, Katsumi, who's currently in college right now. Stop panicking, Dad, Kao knows how to deal with his relationship. How can you three sound so confident? They all laughed and Dad Bokuto just kept on trying to eavesdrop near the stairs. He's the type of father that panics a lot, but he's also very dependable and kind. Papa Bokuto stood from his seat and walked towards his husband. Calm down darling, Kotaro will do just fine. Dad Bokuto sighs and hugs Papa Bokuto and kisses his forehead. Oh my goodness, look at them. Katsumi whispers to Kumi while slightly snickering. Kumi leaned closer to the laptop and covered her mouth. I know right, it's so cringy. They both laughed together, but it came to a halt when they heard a very loud and whiny Akashi from upstairs. They all looked at each other for a moment and burst out laughing. The married couple walked back to the living room and continued to talk with Katsumi. 20 minutes after that, Bokuto and Akashi finally walked out of the room. Akashi says that he's going home, but Papa Bokuto invites him to dinner. Bokuto also begged him to a sleepover, and of course, Akashi can never say no to those puppy eyes. KuroKen. In real life, Kuro grins to himself and before contacting Kenma and asking him, oh wait, no, erase that. Kuro grins to himself and before contacting Kenma and begging him to come over, he stands up from the floor and walks out of his room. Before doing this prank, other than Kenma being violent, there is another thing that he has to worry about, his mom's. He goes to his mom's room and knocks 3 times on the door. Mom's. Yes, Tetsuro? May I come in? Sure. Kuro opens the door and sees both of his moms on the bed with a blanket on the lower half of their bodies. He sees his mom on her phone, and his other mom typing something on her laptop. "What is it, dear?" Mommy Kuro bumps her wife's shoulder and she immediately shoots her head up from her laptop. "Tetsu, you need something. Kenma's coming over. Well, I still have to ask him. But I just want to tell the two of you that if you hear me screaming, and Kenma growling, do not panic." Kuro seriously said, but only got laughter as a response. "Why are you two laughing? Why would we panic? It happens almost every time he comes over here. Oh dear, we know Kenma well enough to know that he won't bite you. At least, not that often." "Cool, thank you, moms. Welcome, sweetheart." "No problem, buddy." Kuro walks out of his parents' room and runs back to his. He needs to nail this challenge. Imagine challenging your friends to do a prank and then you, the mastermind of everything, fail to do the prank. Kuro looks around his room, trying to find a place to hide his phone that will be recording Kenma's reaction. He needs to be creative this time. Where can he hide his phone so that Kenma can't see it? He kept on looking and looking and looking that he just remembered that he hasn't even called Kenma yet. That's the hardest part of this challenge, asking Kenma to come over. Kuro grabs his phone from his bed and starts to dial Kenma's number. He starts biting his lip, hoping that his boyfriend is not in the middle of playing a game or talking to Shoyo. I swear to God, if that shrimpy wasn't single, I totally think that he's trying to steal my Ken. Kenma didn't answer. Of course, it wasn't going to be so easy. It took Kuro at least 15 minutes of pacing back and forth in his room, with his phone glued to his ear. Finally, Kenma answers the call. Ken. What do you want? Oh, finally, are you busy? Not that much, I was just playing with Shoyo. Oh, is that so? Yeah, sorry I didn't answer your other calls, my phone was dead and I was charging it. Oh, it's fine, babe, don't sweat about it. So, why did you call? Well, are you free right now? I don't want to go outside tonight, Kuro. No, I'm just asking if you're not doing anything important right now. I'm not asking you on a date. Shoyo told me that he's going to meet up with the Karasuno setter, so yeah, I'm not doing anything right now. Can you come over then? It's fine if you don't want to, maybe I'll just come over, can I? Sure. Huh. I'll come over, see you Tetsu. See you too Ken. Kuro hangs up the call and he stands still in the middle of his room. Oh God. He collapses to the floor with his hands on his chest. I love him so much it hurts. Kuro rubs his chest to ease the throbbing feeling in his heart. Literally. Kuro takes deep breaths and slowly stands up on his feet once again. Now, he continues to look for a place to hide his phone. After pacing back and forth for about 15 minutes earlier, he has finally come up with a place to hide the device. Kuro walks to his door while mumbling something under his breath. Thank you so much, Mom. Why is he saying that? Well, the clothing hanger hook that his mom bought him turns out to be useful in certain situations. Kuro places his phone in a landscape position and makes sure that it doesn't fall since the gaps between the hooks are wide. Kuro was about to lay back down on his bed when his phone suddenly rang. He panicked and ran to the door and grabbed his phone. His mom is gonna kill him if he breaks his phone. He looked at his phone and saw Kenma's name displayed on the screen. Ken, heavy black heart blowing a kiss is calling. Kuro furrows his brows in confusion and then answers the call. Kenma. Kuro. Yes, are you okay? Yeah, I'm all good. Doesn't sound like it. Kenma sighs. Can you come pick me up? Where? At your house? No. I'm here at the park. Why are you there? Well, I fell on the stairs. You what? I was saving a cat and, yeah. I'm coming. Kuro hangs up the phone and immediately grabs his jacket, wears it, and runs out of his room. The prank is the last thing on his mind right now. He doesn't care if he doesn't get to do it since Kenma's his priority right now. He runs downstairs while asking permission from his moms through yelling, he didn't wait for the answers and stormed out of the house while wearing his flip-flops. He runs and runs and runs and runs until he reaches the place where they used to play volleyball when they were kids. It's not a playground, but for the both of them, it is. Kuro walks down the stone stairs as he's looking for Kenma and his gaze land on a boy who's sitting near the lake while clutching his knees. Kuro starts to slow down and he lets out a sigh of relief before proceeding to walk towards Kenma. Kenma! Kuro yells and Kenma glances at him. Kenma slowly stands up, removing the dirt on his clothes as he does. Kuro didn't wait for Kenma to even take one step. He instantly runs towards the boy, turns his back, and crouches to a piggyback ride position. Come on. It's fine, I can walk, Kenma. Kuro said sternly and Kenma sighed in defeat. Kenma crouches as well and puts his arms on Kuro's shoulders. The taller boy carries Kenma and he slowly stands up, earning a quiet yelp from Kenma. Hold on tight. Kuro says and he starts walking. Their walk home was very quiet. Usually, Kuro would ask Kenma a lot of things. Is he okay? Where's the cat? Are you hurt? Do you have a scar? But today, he was very quiet and it alarmed Kenma. Now, you can call Kuro mean because he's actually doing this for a reason. Let us take note that what's running in his mind are the questions we just mentioned earlier. But, the other thing that's also in his mind is the prank. Kuro Tetsuro doesn't know how to give up just yet. That is why he's not saying a word. Of course, he wants to make sure that Kenma's okay first, but that doesn't mean that he can't ignore him while cleaning his wounds or something. He also noticed how serious his tone was earlier and Kenma is not used to that, so he used it to his advantage. After 5 minutes, they finally arrive home and in front of the house, Kuro crouches and waits for Kenma to get off. Of course, the shorter boy wouldn't know that because Kuro is not saying anything. After an awkward silence, Kenma finally realizes this and slowly gets off from Kuro's back and stands up. His legs slightly wobbled and it almost made him trip, but he had enough balance so he didn't. Kuro opens the door and walks inside the house, with Kenma, who's staring intently at Kuro's back, following after him. The door automatically closes and now, it's just the two boys' footsteps that are heard. Moms, where's the first aid kit? Kuro yells and is about to walk up the stairs but suddenly turns around, looks at Kenma, and signals him to sit on the couch by moving his head in that direction. Kenma was confused but eventually nodded and walked his way to the couch. Kuro, who's aggressively biting his bottom lip because of how cute Kenma is, runs upstairs to his mom's room. He opens the door and sees his moms cracking up together while watching a movie. Ayo. It's in the cabinet downstairs, sweetheart. Don't use too many band-aids, I don't want to go to the grocery store. Kuro nods and instead of going back downstairs, he goes to his rooms. He fishes for his phone in his pocket, places it on the same clothing hook, and puts it in the same position as earlier. He also hooked some clothes and towels on it so that it wouldn't be so obvious. He then quickly but without actually running, went downstairs and when his eyes landed on Kenma, his heart immediately melted into a puddle of goo. Kenma was looking around the house, and quietly waiting for Kuro. Kuro takes a deep breath before continuing to walk downstairs, and then to the cabinet to get the first aid kit. He glances at Kenma and slightly moves his head towards the direction of the stairs and starts walking. Kenma gets the hint and starts to follow Kuro upstairs. They both walk inside Kuro's room and Kuro lets Kenma in first since he doesn't want the boy to see the camera filming them. After Kenma walks inside, Kuro closes the door and just stands there, waiting for Kenma to sit down on the bed. Sit over there. Kuro says in a very cold tone and Kenma walks over to the bed and sits there. Kenma's eyes were glued to his legs so he didn't even get to see the camera filming them. Well, That's in addition to the fact that Kuro is trying so hard to cover the camera with his whole body. Kuro slowly walked towards Kenma and sat on the floor in front of him. Kuro places the kit beside him and opens it after. Where? Kuro's trying so hard to keep his talking to a minimum so it still kinda fits into the criteria of the challenge. Kenma points to his left knee and Kuro slowly grabs the boy's left leg. Kuro pulls Kenma's pants up to his knee and Kuro slightly frowns when he sees the scar on Kenma's knee. Kuro lets out a deep sigh before continuing to sanitize and bandage Kenma's wound. The room was very quiet. Usually, when Kenma gets a light injury, Kuro always showers him with attention. Kenma both hates and likes that attention. He doesn't need Kuro to constantly tell him to be careful, but he likes the fact that Kuro gives him his undivided attention. Kenma's slowly getting anxious. Why isn't Kuro talking to him properly? It wasn't even a big wound. It's just a little scratch. Was he heavy? Did Kuro hate carrying him? A lot of thoughts were going through his mind. Kuro on the other hand is also nervous. Shit, did he see the camera already? Fuck, I shouldn't have done this prank, he might literally bite me this time. He won't get any infection with this wound, right? Gosh, maybe I shouldn't have asked him to come over. Kuro finishes and he stands up and cleans the area up. Usually, he would go downstairs to put the kid back in its place since he might get scolded, but he can't risk it. Kenma's wrath is very frightening. Kuro puts the kid in the corner of his room. He grabbed a volleyball magazine and then settled on the floor beside Kenma's legs. Kenma gets even more nervous. What's the meaning of this? Why was Kuro reading a volleyball magazine? To bring back memories, to learn more about volleyball, oops. Kenma starts to squint his eyes while staring at the clothing hook at the door of Kuro's room. He squints even more and his eyes widen when he sees a cell phone, facing him directly. Kenma closes his eyes, inhales a lot of air, and exhales all of it. Never fucking talk to me again. Kenma stands up and starts booking it to the door. Kuro catches up and starts to chase after Kenma. Wait, no Ken, let me explain. Kenma was about to open the door and run out of the room, but he was caught by Kuro's big hug and he got pulled back to the bed. Let go of me, you asshole. I was wondering why the hell were you so cold to me, and turns out, it's one of your freaking pranks again. Kuro doesn't want to laugh, especially since his boyfriend is pissed, but the fact that Kenma is trying to censor his words because Kuro's parents are him cracks Kuro up. You're laughing. No, I'm so sorry, please forgive me. No. After about 10 minutes of wrestling and tussling with each other, Kuro finally imprisons Kenma with his long legs. This is abuse. Excuse me, Kyanma, this is abuse. Kuro shows Kenma the bite mark on his arms, and the shorter boy rolls his eyes. You deserve it. Kuro laughs in disbelief and kisses Kenma on the head, earning a very violent reaction from Kenma. This is when Kuro gets worried about his Boku bro and contacts Akashi while getting smacked and bitten by Kenma. After the call, Kuro then pulls Kenma up to his chest and hugs him, so tight that the shorter boy can't move that much. That's it, you're under arrest. For what? Kuro grins and gives Kenma a quick kiss on the lips. For being the cutest person in the world. Kenma's cheeks flushed into a red tint and he lightly smacks Kuro's chest. You're stupid. I love you too. UshiTen. In real life, Ushijima continued to stare at his phone while squinting and slowly placed it beside him. He's sitting right now on his bed with his freakishly straight and good posture. Ushijima is not that used to do pranks that require filming something, and also when he thinks that the prank is stupid. What's his definition of stupid? Definition number 1, stupid is when someone tells you and you don't understand it despite of the explanation because it still doesn't make sense. Definition number 2, an act that will make Satoru unhappy or furious. Most of the time, Ushijima lives in his little apartment near Shiraiterizawa, but, since it's a weekend, he's sleeping over at his mom's house. Next weekend, he'll then sleep over at his dad's house. His parents are separated but they're still friends. This created a very depressing yet mature surrounding for Ushijima as he grows up. Ushijima slowly scans his room, while searching for a hiding place when he suddenly hears his mom shout from downstairs. "Wakatoshi." "Yes, mother? I'm going to the grocery store for a while. I forgot to buy some things last week. Do you wanna come with me?" "I'm sorry, mother, but I would like to stay here." "Okay. And stop being too formal with me." "Mom is fine." "Okay. Okay, Mom. Good. See you later." "Okay, be safe, Mom." Ushijima stays quiet for a while, waiting for his mother to leave the house first. After hearing her leave, Ushijima then continued to look around his room. His room is very clean and it is not too big but also not too small. He just doesn't know what place would be appropriate to hide his phone. After minutes of walking and walking, he eventually settled with the stand he usually uses when he's on a video call with Tendu. It's not the best hiding place, for real, it's the worst, but Ushijima thinks that Tendu won't see it. He does think that the prank is stupid but he genuinely thinks that this is the best hiding spot for his phone. Let me tell you, it's not, but it's Ushi so it's fine. Ushijima then starts calling Tendu. It only took a few rings for the red-haired boy to answer. "Hello Toshi." "Hello Satoru. Why'd you call?" "I want to ask you something." "What is it?" "Can you come over tonight? I am at my mom's house." "Sure, let me just ask mom and dad then I'll quickly sprint my way there." "Be careful." "Okay." "Okay, see ya Toshi." "See you too." Satoru. Ushijima hangs up the call and was about to place it in the hiding position he thought of but then, he suddenly thinks of something. If he's going to ignore Tendu, and his mom is not home, how can Tendu walk inside their house? Ushijima knows that Tendu is not the type of person that just suddenly walks inside someone's home without knocking, unless. Ushijima grabs his phone and starts to call Tendu once again. "Ushi. Hello Satoru. What's wrong? I'm on my way right now. Do you have something to say?" "Yes." "What is it?" "Can you just go straight into the house when you arrive?" What do you mean?" "Just go straight to the house and then to my room. You do not need to knock anymore." "Okay, why, though?" "I'm afraid I won't be able to provide that information Satoru." Tendu giggles. "Okay. Toshi. Is that all?" "Yes, bye Satoru." "Bye." Ushijima hangs up the phone and then he immediately puts on its designated hiding spot. He opens his camera and then starts recording. Unlike the others, he's not worried about storage space and all that. His phone has nothing in it except for contact details and pictures of his team, but mostly Tendu. Now he waits. He's just sitting on his bed, hands on his laps, eyes focused on an advertisement sticker on a comic book. After a few minutes of just sitting and doing nothing, he then hears someone from downstairs going inside the house. "Toshi, I'm here." Ushijima smiles but then he immediately shakes his head off and puts on a poker face. His idea of ignoring someone is just simply avoiding them without doing anything. Tendu walks upstairs to Ushijima's room and when he opens the door, he is greeted by a quiet Ushijima who's sitting at the edge of his bed without doing anything. Tendu tilts his head in confusion but still with a smile on his face. He was about to take a step but then he notices a phone facing him directly. Tendu almost burst out laughing after he puts two and two together. His boyfriend is probably doing a prank. Oh gosh, he is so dense and innocent. Tendu closed the door behind him and slowly walked his way to Ushijima. This is when you realize that Tendu is wearing his naughty smirk. Tendu sits beside Ushijima and starts acting cute. "Toshi." Tendu tilts his head to the side and pouts. He hooks his arm to Ushijima's and then slightly tugged it. Why are you ignoring me? Tendu asks in a nasal tone. And rests his head on Ushijima's shoulder. Ushi. Tendu hums but still got no response from Ushijima. Tendu grins and starts to poke Ushijima's cheeks. Toshi, are you angry at me? Tendu summons his cute puppy eyes and he giggles when he felt Ushijima tensed up. Ushi. Tendu shakes Ushijima's arm even more while still resting his head on the boy's shoulder. Ushijima expected Tendu to be sad or angry, but he didn't expect him to be clingy. That's why instead of telling Tendu that it's just a prank, he's just going with it. Hey, can you blame him? He's enjoying this very much. Ushi, are you angry at me? Tendu pouts but Ushijima still didn't give an answer. Tendu continues to act clingy while thinking of a way to make Ushijima give up in this prank. Then a light bulb appears on the top of his head. Tendu bites his bottom lip, looks at Ushijima and kisses him on the cheek. Tendu made a loud kiss sound and leans back away. He giggles when he saw veins popping through Ushijima's skin. Not enough? Tendu was about to lean in for another kiss but he was stopped by Ushijima's hands. Ushijima looks at Tendu with a very tensed expression. Toshi. Ushijima slides his hands to Tendu's cheeks and then pulled him into a kiss. Tendu's eyes widen in shock and it took him some time to respond to the kiss. The kiss lasted 5 seconds and Ushijima pulls away after that. I'm sorry. For what? Ushijima points at his phone. I was only doing a prank. Tendu chuckles and held Ushijima's hand. Yeah, I noticed. Ushijima laughs with Tendu and leans in for another kiss. Aren't you gonna go get your phone, Toshi? Oh right. Ushijima stands up and walks to his phone and grabbed it. He stopped recording and then went back to Tendu, who's now leaning on the wall beside the bed. Ushijima crawls towards Tendu and sat beside him. They just sat there in silence until Tendu started giggling. Satoru. I'm sorry, I just didn't expect you to initiate a kiss, Toshi. Ushijima's cheeks turn into a light shade of pink and Tendu laughs even more. You're so cute, Toshi. Tendu hugs Ushijima and the latter's heart flutter. Ushijima slings his arm around Tendu's shoulder and kissed his forehead. I love you. Tendu giggles and sighs in content. I love you too, Toshi. Hello again everyone, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Do y'all prefer the video with or without a background music? Anyways, I might be posting the first episode of the upcoming Dejaga series since I'm going to be streaming twice. New comeback. Love y'all.